teenage girl who had talked about having been having her reputation threatened online. Ultimately, David Omar Harris, a 25-year-old living in Las Vegas, Nevada, has now been indicted on 2 counts of producing child pornography involving that minor in Wisconsin. He threatened to injure her reputation with the intent to extort a thing of value. He used Facebook and Kik websites to harass, intimidate, and cause substantial emotional distress. DCI, as I said, identified a minor in Wisconsin as a possible victim. That identification helped start the investigation. We were able to use administrative subpoenas, which have been available now in Wisconsin since 2016 in Internet Crimes Against Children cases, thanks to the passage of Alicia's Law. It was named after a woman who, when she was 13, was lured from her home by an internet predator in another state, taken across state lines, forced into a basement, tortured, assaulted, and photographed by a pedophile. After 4 long days, Alicia was rescued by law enforcement who used from a specialized cyber unit who were able to track her location via the photographs that were posted online. Senator Wangard and Representative Clayfish authored that legislation that gave agents in Wisconsin the ability to move this investigation faster by issuing administrative subpoenas to identify where the internet communications were sourced. During the course of the investigation in this matter, there have been now up to 500 teenage girls identified throughout the U.S. and internationally since going back to 2012. The individual that's been indicted used usernames on Kik and Facebook that are identified in the U.S. Attorney's Office press release they'd issued. Usernames Zero, Bo Roams, Aikido, Lelouch, and Cami. We're looking for the media's help and the help from the public as we are examining possibility of up to 500 victims here, most of which have not yet been identified. And we're looking for information that might help us to identify those victims to further protect them and hold this individual accountable. We're looking for contact from those members of the public who can assist. They can contact the Wisconsin Department of Justice at 608-224-9345 or email at report@doj.state.wi.us. And I want to make a point as well. This case highlights why it is so important for parents to protect their kids, not just in the real world, in the physical world, but in the virtual world as well. How can a family protect their children from sexual exploitation or protect them online? Well, the best way is through creating and maintaining open lines of communication with your kids. Internet safety is about good parenting. Parents can install software programs that will prevent their kids from being able to keep secrets from them, but you can also avoid installing software programs that don't protect your kids online. Prepare your children for the online world. Talk to them about the dangers and risks online. Know their passwords, their screen names, and account information. And check their things. You should, as you would be concerned about things that don't belong in their room, you should be concerned about things that don't belong on their phones or their computer. Learn as much as a parent as you can about the internet and the places your children are visiting and the sites they're using. There are resources to help parents. Protect Kids Online, wi.gov provides resources that parents can utilize. That's Protect Kids Online, wi.gov. And we also have the Internet Crimes Against Children unit in Wisconsin issues a bi-weekly podcast from the team that talks about the latest information on online safety for kids of any age, and you can find that on that Protect Kids Online, wi.gov website. And parents hopefully will take advantage of that resource so they can know as much about the internet their kids are using as their kids know. And that's the best way we can keep our kids safe from predators like Mr. Sorry, just blanked his name.
Harris.
Mr. Harris, thank you.
Of the 500 that you mentioned, how many are in Wisconsin?
We know of one in
The
Wisconsin.
one that you mentioned at the very beginning.
Right. But with them, with almost all of these, they remain unidentified. We don't know where they're from. These are people that we believe he communicated with online. So the next step is to identify who they are and be able to put the investigation information together with identities of victims.
And is he soliciting inappropriate or nude photos from the victims at that time?
Yes, the information was that he obtained information from them that he utilized for his own benefit, and then utilized it to extort more from them.
How old is the person in Wisconsin?
A teenage girl. It's been going on for some time. She's still a teenager now. She's still under 18.
Do you know how long the communications went on?
I don't think that's information I can release at this point.
So he has been indicted in Nevada?
Yes.
Federal indictment?
Yes, on 2 counts relating to activities involving the victim that's been identified in Wisconsin.
And what was his name again?
I want to get his full name here. Sorry. Ended up putting these out of order. Apologize. David Omar, Ohmar Harris.
You said you were, go ahead.
Was he from Wisconsin, the man who was charged?
He's, at least as of recently, a Las Vegas resident.
Oh, Las Vegas.
So now you're soliciting other people to come forward, but how did you find out about the one that you're dealing with now, and how did you track him down?
The victim came forward and reported to authorities, and Vilas County authorities sought the assistance of the Division of Criminal Investigation ICAC unit.
But I mean, what kind of a process is it as far as, tracing, you're tracing IP addresses? How do you track
Right.
somebody down who's doing this to who knows how many people?
Yes, that's exactly what we do. We then have to work from the communications that victim has received to identify the IP address of the person on the other side of the communication and work our way up to getting to them. And we build in many layers of identifying to the same person and same location to make sure we're going to the right place and making contact with the right individual.
Do you know when he was indicted?
I believe that the date, I believe, is in the press release that the U.S. Attorney's Office released. I don't have that on the tip of my tongue.
August 2nd. When did that U.S. Attorney's release go?
Just 10 o'clock this morning.
This morning?
Yeah,
After we were already here?
I think so.
So,
It was in Burlington.
right, I'm saying that I haven't seen a release of any kind other than that you guys were going to talk to us. So I don't know what information else you have to share then.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. This is DOJ release.
Thank you.
So you can see from the press release, we have to be very careful about just how much information we can release outside of the public record in a pending case that relates to the constitutional rights of the defendant. Since he is indicted, we are able to identify him now and publicly state that he has been indicted for those counts. It is an ongoing investigation, and before we can proceed further with much of it, we do need to identify more of the victims that have been uncovered in the course of the investigation.
What makes you suspect there's up to 500 victims?
I'm not able to comment on how that information is gained, but in the course of the investigation, we believe that there are up to 500 victims.
Within what time frame?
Going back to 2012.
So, he's 25 now.
So some of the individuals may now be, some of the victims may now be adults, depending on what age that he was communicating with them.
Does the individual from Wisconsin go back to 2012 as well?
No, I don't believe that one goes back that far. I don't know how far back that goes.
And here it says Harris is being transferred to the Western District of Wisconsin. So what does he get charged with in federal court? What do you charge with? What do you hope to do with him here?
Because it's a federal indictment, they can proceed here, but they indicted him there in Las Vegas. But they're bringing him up here to face the charges.
When was the indictment unsealed? August 8th?
I don't know, and because of the rules that prohibit the U.S. attorney and an elected Wisconsin official from standing together at this press conference, I can't answer that for you right now.
Is there potential to face separate charges, both federal charges and state charges?
Well, that's a possibility, but we would proceed on one system, and federal authorities will have. If we're able to identify victims who are from other states, then the federal authorities would have the ability to prosecute those in one case against this individual, as opposed to in Wisconsin, we would be limited to just what happened in Wisconsin, and that would be, at least right now, the one victim from Wisconsin. Okay, so we are looking for the public's help. By way of wrap up, we're looking for the public's help. If your children or you are familiar with those names, Zero, Bo Romes, Akito, Lelouch, and Cami, those usernames on Kik or Facebook, we're looking for you to contact Wisconsin DOJ, and that number again is 608-224-9345, or at email at report@doj.state.wi.us. And I do want to publicly thank the bipartisan passage of Alicia's Law in Wisconsin that helped make it possible for us to move this investigation faster than we would have just a few short years ago. Thank you. You had a question?
Yeah, can I ask a off-topic question?
Sure. Do you want to let everybody else escape, or
Yeah, no.
it's up to them?
The ACA lawsuit, which you're a part of,
Yes.
in Texas, is hearing oral
Right.
arguments today. If the judge does not, eliminate the ACA, does not rule today, what are the next steps?
Well, the judge has asked for oral arguments on the two competing issues. When we filed our brief, we sought a preliminary injunction stopping the Affordable Care Act from going forward. When the U.S. Department of Justice filed their brief, they largely agreed with us on the legal theories, but their assertion was that the court should just go ahead and issue summary judgment in our favor. Therefore, the judge needs to pick which of those two options, or neither. Of course, that's going to be the judge's decision. So that's what arguments today are about. I think it's pretty predictable that whatever decision the judge makes today is likely to be appealed, and so we won't see resolution. Well, excuse me, the judge won't make a decision today in all likelihood. That will probably be some months away. That will likely be appealed. But does that answer your question as to what the arguments are today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Are we hearing from the U.S. Attorney, or is that it?
No, not today.
Okay.